Okay, this is just going to be easier for me to explain the root word from eSword. So I'm just going to record this really quickly, and sorry, I'm not awake yet. But this was just easier for me than trying to take a million screenshots and then trying to explain it that way. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to show you an eSword because I don't use the other ones. So if you open eSword, and our word was from wash me from Psalm 51:2. Psalm 51:2. Okay, so it was in here. I'm going to try to show this to you as much as I can. So in here you have Psalm 51:2, and then if you go down to the bottom, it has the wash, which I'm not sure that you can read that very clearly. So you're going to hit the number for wash, which is the 3526, and you're going to come up with this screen. And when you're trying to find a root word, this one actually doesn't have a root word. It's just the main word, which is a root word. So it kind of is the same thing. So the kabas, which is like if you have this and you see this word, this blue word right here, this is the main word. So this would be the transliteration word if you're looking at the word study page. So underneath the verse that you write, which is Psalm 51:2, there's a thing that says transliteration, and so the kabas is also the transliteration, and then your eSword number is the H3526. But when you have a root word, it says it's a primitive root word. So kabas is a root word for some other thing, so it can get combined in there. And then it says derivatives, and this one really doesn't have any derivatives. If you're in eSword, you can download the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon thing for free. And so what I did is when I looked at it, it has, I'm not sure you guys can see these well, but so if you're down in the Brown's, it has all these different words right here. And so I actually wrote all of those down under the derivatives for it. And then I think I defined them. I did. So if you look, you can see that she had written kabas as the root word with no derivatives, with no listed derivatives. So that's what she said in her in the video that she did when she put one together for this specific word. And then I just wrote those other words underneath that. Actually, I had written those words first, and then I added that after I watched her video, and I hadn't watched her video when I wrote my words down. So, and then the concordance, what I did, I actually wrote the concordance definition, and so the actual Strong's definition is what I wrote there. She had like wash and fuller, which were other words used for wash. Well, I had wash. So I'm just finished my one for my prepare word, if I can remember what I did with it. I stuck it in my book. So sorry, my book was underneath this. So I did my prepare, which is my word of the year. So I did my one for it. And so when I did the concordance and I pulled it up, it said prepare, provide, and make ready. And so I did that, and then I just wrote beside it how many times each of those words were used as far as in these list of things here for usage. You don't have to write how many times. She did. I mean, so like she used, like if you're looking at it, it says fuller was used 4 times, And when you have a word that's used 51 times, obviously you're going to subtract 4 from 51, and then it's going to give you the number of times that wash itself was given. So if you don't know how to do that either, here, let me show you that too. So if you're trying to get to the usage part, I think I went over this earlier, and you're in this form, you're going to hit the actual blue wording, and it's going to pull this screen up, and then you're going to view all over here, maybe view all, and then it's going to pull up this screen here, and then if you actually click the numbers, it's going to take you down to this, and so it's going to tell you how many times, and I know it's probably backwards for you, but maybe not, I don't know, it looks backwards to me. So anyway, it's going to give you the chapter and how many times it's been used in each of those, and then if you want to figure out, like, it's highlighted, so it says wash me, make ready, so then you can figure out if it's oh, it says wash or fuller, so you can just kind of count if you want to. I went through, fuller was used 4 times, so obviously 51 minus 4 is going to give you what, 47. So wash was used 47 times out of the 51 usages of it in the Old Testament. So that's kind of what that is. So the concordance is just the other words used, or you can just write the actual concordance definition like I did. I mean, wash and fuller, if you really want to just go to the end like this, down here, oops, hit the button, wrong thing. So like right here, it says fuller and wash. You could just write those two down, and that's at the very, very bottom of the definition for lexicons. And that's kind of what she did, is just used words that were other words that could be used for that word. And then your lexicons are different lexicons that can be used for that. I actually went to my book, my big book, and looked up wash, and then I wrote down all the numbers that it was, and then one was the actual main lexicon, and then there was one more, and it said wash off and wash away. And so that's kind of what I did. This ended up being a little bit longer. The parsing section, I'm going to say this again, I'm not too interested. It did tell me in the main lexicon thing that it was a verb. I wrote down verb. All this other stuff is from her video. I'm not too impressed with it, so if you don't want to do it, you can just write if it's a verb, singular, if you know that, if it says it. I think the one for my prepare said it was just a verb too, so that's all I wrote down. So then you have your lexicons, you have your, like, your wash, fuller, and then this is my definition. And then you have your usages and how many, like, where it first appeared, where it last appeared, how many times, or, well, which one had the most appearances in it. And then you have your parsing, which I didn't use. You have your definition, which I used the 1828 dictionary for. And then you have your main word, and then your lexicon number, your verse. And then these are root words and derivatives. If you're using the wash me, or like if I show you my prepare one, it's actually got a lot more. It's like this one actually had a root word underneath it. This one has a derivative underneath it, and then there was a compare word that I used that was from this word, and the compare word was here, and this word was from this, and its derivative was this. So that's how I got all of those. And see, it was a verb. And I did look up its parsing in the other one. I'm just not impressed with it. These are all the other lexicons, and then these are the 3 words in the concordance that were different. Those are all my usages, my definitions from the dictionary. And so yeah, it's just a way to dive deeper into one word. I'm not so sure that I use it very often, unless I'm really specifically, like, prepare, really wanted to dig into that word because it's my word of the year. But because we have like 3 or 4 of these in this Lent study, they're going to be changing. I'm hoping that they have like root words and stuff in there more than this one did, because this one doesn't have a root word. It doesn't have a derivative. It doesn't have any of that stuff that you would normally see. So you can do all of it from eSword, because you have the 1828 in there. You have your lexicons. You have your, if you have word study, you can do that. If you just want to download all of the free lexicons in there, you can. You don't have to have the word study. The usage thing, like it gives you, you just have to push on that one wording that says how many times, that blue lettering that says it's used this many times, and that's underneath the Strong's definition. The only thing I had to go to a different book for was my big book, and that was for the lexicons, and I didn't look to see in here. Wash. No, see, it just gives you verses. It doesn't give you any other like words that you can use for wash. It's just verses. So yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. I wouldn't spend the money on that extensive word study one unless you're extensively going to do lots of word studies. And use the Bible and you want the cross references for specific words. That's not something I do, so I'm not going to recommend it unless that's some kind of an area of study you want to do. So that is how I got the root word for the wash, because there isn't really a root word for it. And I can show you, let's see, I can show you how I got the root word for my word. So I'm actually just going to pull it up in the lexicon, because then it doesn't go away for me. So sorry, this is a little longer than I was thinking. So 2090. All right. So this is for my prepare word. It's really hard for me to show this. So this is the main word. So this would be the transliteration word that's in Greek, and then it's right here. So this would be the word that you would use for your transliteration. And then it also says it's from this, so this was one of the words that you use, and it has lexicon numbers. Okay, and then it also says there's a compare down here somewhere. So like this says right down here at the bottom, it says this is derivative, so here's the derivatives for it. And this is all just in your Strong's. This is not in my word study. Oh, it is in my word study. But it does give you the derivatives of it, and so you just kind of have to, move around a little bit, but it's all in there. And if we get a word that does it during this study, then I will go into it more if you guys need help with it some more. So sorry this is longer than I thought it would be, but and sorry you had to see me with like basically just waking up. But all right, ladies, if you need something else, let me know.